setting low on a hometown track. Dust rolling up like a freight train stack. Cooler in the bed of a beat-up Ford. Crowds getting loud cause they know what's in store. Engines rumbling like a southeast storm. Another wild night where new legends are born. Grab your hat, grab your girl, feel that grandstand shake. Everybody knows this ain't no small town state. Cause we're full throttle Thursday night at them big bright lights. Rubbing goals, riding high, leaning hard through every fight. From the backstretch to turn forward, fans holler for more. And boy, nothing beats that heartbeat racing. Yeah, this is iNRS Racing.
All right, folks, welcome to our Thursday night series here. We are at Nashville Superspeedway for the Cracker Barrel 200 in the iNRS Cup Series. I am Rick Souza here in the booth with Jordan Booth for tonight's broadcast. Jordan, this is an interesting track.
Yeah, there's really not much like it. Kind of your cookie cutter oval in a shape sense, but it's concrete, hard to pass, and just a little bit of a different challenge than these drivers face week to week.
Yeah, absolutely. So they got just a couple minutes, maybe a minute and a half or so left to practice. Let's go ahead and cover the event. So we'll get right into qualifying in about a minute. Then we'll go into a 5-minute driver warm-up, which is actually the drivers' meeting. And then we'll go racing at right around the 9 o'clock Eastern time. But in doing so, we've got a lot of things to cover. First of all, let's just kind of cover the basics of tonight's event.
So, looks like we're gonna have, the normal tire sets and everything like that. But it looks like it's gonna be a very cool night. 78 air temp, and obviously gonna be at nighttime too. So track temp is gonna be a lot lower. And kind of like I was talking about before, gonna definitely have that similar shape of the 1.5 miles, but at only 1.3 miles. Just that much difference going to give them a little bit of a bit tonight.
Absolutely. So we've got 7 sets of tires. We do have a stage break around lap 51. 150 laps tonight. And really 75% fuel. So our fuel window is somewhere in the 46 to 52 laps. We'll see how that all plays out. Obviously, cautions affect that, as well as whether you're out there by yourself or you're running in a pack. So that will affect your fuel window. So with that, as they're going to start moving into qualifying, let's talk about the keys for tonight's event.
Absolutely, Rick. I think tire wear is going to definitely be a big one, as well as kind of how you pace yourself with the first stage coming at lap 50 or around there. That fuel window going to be a little bit interesting to see how drivers tend to attack that first stage. But as we see them kind of rolling out now, qualifying, got to put yourself up at the front of these things with how hard it is to pass.
Yeah, absolutely. Nashville is the largest concrete track in NASCAR, and that surface is going to change dramatically over that long run. So we'll be kind of watching that as the bloom kind of wears off these sticker tires, and we'll see how they manage that long run. Also, just as a note, drivers who abuse that right rear early will lose grip, and really it'll be very challenging as that stint gets longer.
Yeah, for sure, Rick. I think some drivers to key in on for tonight would be those who performed well at Dover. While it's not quite the similar shape, that concrete surface and the abrasiveness on the tires is definitely going to carry over. So some guys like Lucas Gortman, or like Corey Ennis, how we saw him come on strong in that All-Star race. Those guys would be the couple guys to keep your eye on.
Absolutely. Again, we talked about you have to qualify well. They're out there qualifying now. Really, passing is super hard once this field gets strung out. So we'll see how that happens, particularly under long green flag run conditions. Also, this is also one of those tracks where clean air matters. So that's going to be something that we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. Like we said, qualifying is going to be very important and some early times starting to populate. But so far, kind of towards the top of the list, we see some of those guys we mentioned last week, Gortman, Ennis, Keenan Chade, or 2 weeks ago, apologies. But currently at the top, looks like Jordan Wenzel's got that pole.
Yeah, right there so far. Just about a third of the field has completed their qualifying. We're waiting for more. A big notable driver who is not here tonight. That's Eric LeBombard. He has unfortunately been bitten by the bad computer event, unfortunately for Eric, and that has impacted his ability. He wasn't able to make last week's race, and he's out here, and he is right there at the top, and it's beginning to, he's beginning to slip back farther on down the point standings.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate thing to have a technical error plague somebody like that. But, fortunately enough, he's had such a strong regular season up to this point. He can kind of afford to miss some of these races and keep a decent points buffer, but certainly hope that he can resolve those issues and get back out on track sooner rather than later.
Yeah, right now that is our top 16 drivers. Let me widen that out just a little bit. Let's look at the top 18 drivers real quick. So just to show who's on the cut line. So right there, you see at the top, you see Lucas Corbin's leading with Jordan Wenzel. Eric LeBombard had that lead. He'd slipped back to third. But at the bottom, you've got Vince Burns right there at the cut line, and he's got Alex Daffin right there within 3 points, and Daryl Young right there nipping at his heels.
Interesting to see. Yeah, I caught him. We're back in the field tonight. Saw him registered for this race, so have to see if him being back in the field plagues some people with his aggressive driving, and see if he can start to make up some points on that all coveted top six.
Yep, trying to see. He has not qualified as of yet. He's still letting the field qualify, although there's about we're just past the halfway point here for the qualifying window. Of course, he may just choose to start at the back.
Yeah, definitely not probably the best option, but you never know with the league how they enforce things. Maybe as an EOL or something like that, he has to serve for this race, so maybe just choosing to put himself back there already. But as we see, times keep populating. Looks like Jordan Wenzel's done just enough to stay on top.
Yep, right there. Steve Tucker, who's currently right there in second, has definitely come on strong in the last few weeks. We'll see how he gets around tonight.
For sure. Definitely see your familiar faces, but Nashville being so unique tends to invite some people that you might not normally see run at the front to start competing, for wins and top fives here.
Absolutely. All right, so just about 15 seconds left. A few drivers did not qualify. Alex Daffin, Kai Collimore, and Mike Wheel. They'll start at the tail end of the field. As soon as we get done with qualifying, we will go to a 5-minute window while the drivers go into their drivers meeting, and we can kind of chat, and then we'll bring you their starting order soon after.
Just thinking back to last year at Nashville, definitely saw those long green flag runs play a pretty big factor in the race, but at the end of the day, it did come down to green white checkers last year. So we'll have to see, keep an eye on who's able to really push at the beginning of runs and maybe store that in the memory bank for later if we happen to see those late yellows.
Absolutely. All right, let's see if there's anything we haven't covered so far. Kind of went through the points pretty quickly, but we can kind of bring that back up just a little bit. Some notable names right there. Jacob Musa right there in fifth. Dakota Reeder in sixth, tied with Corey Ennis. Keenan Shoddy, who's come on, this is his first year in the series. He's in the top 10. Tyler Lem continues to stay there. Another driver who makes his presence known on the track. Um, who else is up there doing well? Really, a lot of guys. We've seen these names before, but really making the cut this season so far.
Yeah, I think one name that definitely stands out year over year. I know it's hard to compare with a bunch of new faces coming into the league and things getting shuffled up, but Joseph Musso in ninth. Last year he was a top 15 fringe driver, kind of floating around that bubble for the chase. And this year, so far, got himself in ninth position, trying to solidify himself up there in at least that top eight. And right now he's doing a great job giving himself a chance to go fight for this championship.
Yeah, we've seen him all season long. The season's just past the halfway point, but he's had a top five. He's had 6 top 10s, and he's competing pretty solidly. He's got stage points, so really seeing some great results so far out of that Joseph Musso.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's that whole SFM camp. It feels like every week they add more and more drivers. I think they have, 20 drivers. I know it's an over exaggeration, but, it's good to see. Normally they're kind of like RFK in real life, where if one of them's running well, most of the time all of them are running well. So, it's not uncommon to see them all trying to hog up those top 10 spots.
Well, I think that if you're a first-time watcher, if this is your first time here, there are teams out there uh, that make up anywhere from 2, 3, or 4 drivers, and then there are teams out there that actually had so many drivers they broke it up into 2 or 3 different sub-teams, and these guys practice together, they strategize together, and it pays off. It sure does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the testing and things that you can do, solo car, it's helpful to learn the track and get an idea for what's going on, but having the numbers that they have and able to test with other cars around you and put rubber on the track and navigate dirty air, it certainly is a unsung advantage that not a lot of people realize or take advantage of.
Absolutely. All right, just about a minute and a half or so left when these drivers will come back.
Oh, Rick, if I had to pick a driver that I got to keep my eye on today, it's probably the easy pick, but I think Jordan Wenzel's going to be one to watch. Starting on pole, not normally known for his oval prowess in a sense, normally the road course and short track guy, but so far he's able to showcase a little bit of muscle, put himself on pole. Let's see if he can stay up there all race long.
Absolutely. And so right now we're right here, May 28th. We're at Nashville Superspeedway for the Cracker Barrel 200. But next week we're at Michigan, and then Pocono, and then right around the corner, we've just heard that they've released or will about to be releasing the actual San Diego street race.
Yeah, that'll be hectic for sure. It'll be a mad dash, I'm sure, as soon as they release that track for a lot of these guys to go get laps down, and especially a lot of those guys near the bubble of the playoffs or, top 10 in the playoffs. The more laps you can put down on a new track and get an advantage at somewhere like San Diego could give you a massive boost to your points position by having a good day there.
Yeah, and this year we've got something unique where we go to road courses back to back. We're here, in a couple weeks of June, we're at San Diego for that street course, and then up to Sonoma, which is a very challenging track.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. A lot of elevation changes going on at Sonoma, but a little tidbit there right after them, Chicagoland. First time that we will see that with the next gen car. I'm sure a lot of these guys have laps there, doing official racing and other league racing that might go there, but that's a bumpy, abrasive oval that can get out of hand very quickly. So 3 chaotic weeks in a row there in June and July.
All right, looks like our time is ready to go, where the drivers are done with their meeting. Let's see if we can pick up the grid. Yep, there we go. Let's go ahead and bring you that grid, and we'll start. Call it out. Go ahead, Jordan.
All right, well, on pole, as we've mentioned, we have Jordan Wenzel with Steve Tucker there starting on outside of row 1. In row 2, we have Lucas Gortman, and to his outside, we have Joe Torres. Watch for these guys to be active early. In row 3, we have Keenan Schade and Grady Gherkin. Row 4, we have Brian Jones, and to his outside, Corey Ennis. And rounding out your top 10, we have Austin Walton and Jake Musso.
All right, in row 6, to the inside, you've got Zach Carter. To his outside, Tony Japs. In row 7, you've got Jeff Ramsdell and Tyler Lem. In row 8, Garrett Walden and Joe Musso. And in row 9, Dakota Reeder and Eric Jeffers. And in the top 20, you got Eddie Musso Jr. and Matthew Wheeler.
Row 11, we got Daryl Young Jr. and Vince Burns. Row 12, Shane Trotter and Gary Wells. Row 13, Paul Irvin and Scott Thomas, which will round out those who qualified. And we have Alec Daffin and Kai Collymore in row 14, with Mike Wheel starting 29th. But in the pre-race chatter here, a little bit of breaking news. Both Jordan Wenzel and Steve Tucker have EOLs from last week. So front row are going to the back to start this race.
Well, that'll make things that much more interesting.
Yeah, Jordan Wenzel did do himself a solid, though, qualifying on pole. He's going to have a great pit box for the rest of the race. He can hopefully take advantage of that at the stage break and get some more track position, but going to be tough this first stage. Going to be some hard sledding for those guys coming from the back.
So an EOL for Jordan Wenzel and Steve Tucker.
Certainly probably not what they wanted to see, but definitely going to make things interesting having our 2 fastest qualifying cars going to be coming from the back.
All right, lights are off on the pace car. We're about to get this race underway. Lucas Gortman will be right there on the front row with Joe Torres. This is an easy track to get stacked up on.
Absolutely. And one thing to note with this first stage being 50 laps and this extra pace lap, definitely going to be tight on fuel with our fuel window being 46 to 52 laps. So one thing to keep an eye on is who's going to be able to manage their fuel the best, and well, if it even matters unless we start wadding it up.
Always a challenge here. All right, field is coming out of turn 4. You'll see that pace car drop off as Lucas Corbin leads the field into the restart zone. All right, we are underway here at Nashville.
Pretty clean start from those guys at the front. Corey Ennis didn't quite get the launch he was looking for. Going to drop back a little bit here, but we already have Joe Torres trying to fight along the outside, take the lead away from Gortman, but he gets tight. Gortman going to be able to slide up and take the lead.
Yeah, Soup got to get some heat in these tires, get them to stick a little bit better. He drifted all the way up the track.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to take a little bit of a feeling out period here, find out where your car is, get some heat in those tires like you said, Rick, and honestly, just got to find the clean air. Right now, you just got to settle into your rhythm, find some clean air, and log a little bit of laps, and then start to make your moves.
It's beginning to stretch out a little bit here at the front, but not too far in the back. You're seeing a lot of action going on, 2 and 3 wide here as these drivers are trying to take this opportunity and gain some spots.
Yeah, you'll see guys trying to rip the fence, doing anything they can to get a little bit of clean air on that nose. Such a bottom dominant track, but the interesting part is it's so hard to actually complete that pass on the bottom, getting pinched down like that. So a bunch of these guys going to be stuck 2 by 2. As we see, I mean, even guys like Jordan Wenzel, who we saw, you know, have the fastest car in qualifying, not really able to make a ton of ground here in these first 2 laps.
Super hard track to pass. It's just hard to get position.
You see, though, well, it's a hornet's nest from about 20th on back. Up at the front, single file for the first 3 cars, but then a little battle for 4th there between Brian Jones, I believe, and Grady Gherkin. Gherkin really not trying to give him much space, but Jones is trying to make his entrance to the corner as wide as possible. Been beating doors a couple of times down the straightaways, trying to get every inch they can.
Right behind them is Corey Ennis. We can jump on board with Corey and just see what's happening from his point of view.
You see he is electing to shift here, so must either think fuel is too hard to make it or not a concern at this point in time. You see those cars in front of him get single file, though. He elects to follow right behind him. Got a little, ooh, Grady's loose in front of him. That was almost a big moment.
Yeah, Grady dropped back. Gherkin is now, well, how far down did he fall? All the way back to 27th. Got a little bit of nose damage. That right front is, that left front's not turning. He must have smacked the wall.
Yeah, he must have went down and hit that inside wall. Unfortunate for Grady, who's having a good start to the race up at the top 5. One interesting tidbit with these next gens on iRacing that isn't quite accurate with real life is the ability to pack air on somebody. So in real life, we saw it between Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe in the Coke 600, where Denny was able to get to his left rear quarter panel, pack some air on there, and get him tight up the track, was able to move on by him. Here on iRacing, you can't do that, but what you can do instead is get right to somebody's bumper, and it's acting like the old cars where it's taking all the air off the spoiler and there's no downforce. So what we could have seen there was first time he had a guy right up behind him, a little bit of a snap there, and that was all that she wrote. Hard to save these next gen cars when they get sideways.
So Grady Gherkin is in the pits. He has got a meatball flag. That means that car has got to get some level of repairs made before he can rejoin this field. Lucas
like
Gortman out in front. Yeah, let's go on board with Gortman and see just how he's making his way around this track.
Yeah, it looks like for the most part, everybody's doing relatively the same thing out up front. Pretty much even lap times across the board as well, going around 30.1s to 30.2, so not a ton of fall off like we would have expected up to this point. Everybody's still managing their tires very well, long race ahead of them, but interesting to see a lot of these guys are shifting, so electing to try and get everything they can out of the car, get the car to turn a little more, so I'd expect a lot of people are starting to build tight at this point in the run.
Yeah, solid run by Lucas Gortman here, taking advantage of the clean air in front and staying out in front. Let's see where we are gap-wise.
I noticed just a kind of a 2-car breakaway of sorts right now. Gortman and Sade starting to gap the 3 of Joe Torres and those behind him. Have to see how long this can last, though. Only completing lap 10 right now, so still a long way to go in this first stage.
Yeah, we should expect some more serious tire fall off somewhere by lap 25 or so in our estimates. And then we'll see just how they attack this track. Going back a bit deeper in the field, let's go back to Steve Tucker. He's currently back in 19th position.
We saw him have to take that EOL and start at the back of the pack this race. He's made more progress than Jordan Wenzel has so far, but only up to 19th, Rick. It seems like track position is such a big factor in this race tonight.
Yeah, he's nibbling off as much as he can, taking the apron across that front stretch, trying to do anything he can to pick up a little bit. He does. He picked up a little bit on the one. That's Shane Trotter right there. Almost had him as they're right now attacking the 84 of Alex Daffin.
Just going to be hard for him. He's got to start worried about. Oh, see Shane Trotter big in the wall there. That's the things that you want to see when you're trying to track a guy down, but I don't think necessarily you want to see it that close in front of you. But it looks like no harm, no foul to that one car. He's going to keep on trucking, but really just got to focus right now for Tucker on getting those exits down, making sure you're not over scrubbing that right front, get good runs off, and he'll keep working his way up.
So this is another one of those tracks where they actually are running the short track package, I believe, so that a little bit more horsepower than they typically on those mile and a halves, which should make the restarts a bit treacherous for some of these drivers.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I mean, while this track, we like to compare it to Dover a lot, just the same type of surface and everything, but at least you're out of the turn whenever you're restarting here, so restart shouldn't be too big of a worry unless you're out there on old tires, pick up some marbles, and then better be hanging on.
All right, so far 15 of 150, just 10% through this event. And good racing so far throughout the field. Let's pick up where Jordan Wenzel is. Trying to get around the 26 of Eddie Musso Jr.
Eddie is not the easiest pass in the world to make. He might not be one of the guys we see up there in the top 5, top 10 every week, but he is very efficient at what he does with his race car and making it wide and making sure he's hitting his marks consistently lap after lap. He does a really good job of maintaining what he's got.
Yeah, just comparing, let's see, I think we've got some, let's see what we got here. So look at Jordan Wenzel, his last lap was a 30.77, well, 0.71, but he's off like 0.3 from the leaders.
Yeah, and while that is certainly a good chunk of time, what's crazy to me is that Jordan Wenzel is running back in the 20s. He's nowhere near the front, and he's only 0.3 off. So not a ton of discrepancy from the fastest car to the 22nd place car.
All right, the next car in Jordan Wenzel's windshield is he's looking for the 39 of Kai Collimore, who's actually doing well, up 7 spots. Kai started back at the tail end of the field, didn't qualify, but already up to 21st.
Yeah, and Kai right now finding himself in a hornet's nest. We saw the 71 and the 1 trading elbows there down the back straightaway. Seems to be not a lot of love between those two drivers, but Kai's going to try and do his best to work around him as he gets inside of the 1. Just slowly picking them off one at a time. That's all you can do. Can't go from 21st to 1st in a lap, and he's doing a good job managing his car and his tires right now and slowly working his way up.
All right, jumping up to Eric Jeffers, currently in 14th. And Paul Irvin right behind. Paul Irvin is up 10 spots. Now let's go ahead and bring up our biggest gainers right now. Here we go.
Yeah, definitely some guys making some inroads. You know, we got Ramsdale and Lem also up 5 spots, and they're up into the top 10. So in position to get some all valuable stage points are those guys in the back half of the top 10. But it also kind of looks like towards the front of the field. At one point, we were talking about how Gortman was almost a second ahead of 3rd place, and it's all kind of started to come back down. We got 4 cars almost within a second of the leader. So interesting to see. It looks like the 3 cars slipping and sliding and holding guys up behind him, and Gortman doesn't seem to have quite the same pace that he had before, but doing a great job of still managing the gap.
We're talking earlier about the current leaders in the championship. Let's look at the championship top 5. So right now, Gortman, he's out. He's leading the points and also leading the race. Wenzel in second. He's back in 22nd, but he's working his way back up. That 58, that's right there, that says off track. He is definitely off track. That's Eric LeBombard. He's not in tonight's event. And fourth, Grady Gherkin, we saw him tag the wall. He has got in the pits for some extended repair time. That's going to impact him. And fifth place, that is Musso. He is currently in seventh, but Jake is right there where he needs to be.
Yeah, it looks like right now the 3 of Torres, the 4 of Jones, and Corey Ennis are all kind of getting stuck right now behind the lap car of Mike Wheel. Mike's running the top, giving him the preferred groove back there, but it's so hard for these guys to complete the pass. And like we saw earlier, I mean, even though Mike's in 28th place, it's not like he's that much slower than the leaders. So not the easiest pass, and it looks like it definitely broke apart Gortman and Schade once again from the rest of the top 5.
Yeah, we see Mike Wheel try and make his way around. That's Corey Ennis right in front. Corey sitting in 5th place.
Might be looking at the 2 best paint schemes on track right now. Both of those cars definitely could win this week's Paint of the Week award. The Lego car and then the Aero Track car with the blue and the pink. Some mighty fine looking paint schemes we got in the field tonight.
Yeah, loving the Lego car. All right, solid event here. We're halfway to the stage, 25 laps complete. Lucas Gortman out in front. I want to thank all of you for tuning in today. Appreciate you spending your time here with the IWM broadcast of the iNRS series. Certainly appreciate it. If you haven't, click on that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as part of the IWM broadcast family.
Well, Rick, we were talking about how that top 5 was starting to get closer. It looks like Torres is starting to struggle with the handle on his car. Dropped back quite considerably and hasn't drove away from the guys behind. Oh, we got a wreck.
Yeah, caution's out. Wenzel involved. He was just trying to avoid it. But Kai Collimore, Paul Irvin, Alex Daffin, all involved.
Interesting to see what happened here.
Keying our eyes on that 81, that purple, blue and purple car right there. See if we see something in front. Oh, there it is. It's the 48. Just broke right.
Nowhere for low. Big contact between the 39 and the 1 at the top of the screen. Wenzel does a great job to avoid it. If we can, maybe we ride on board with what car that was. I can't remember the number that
the 48
just went right.
Yeah, that
Looked
was
odd.
That was Paul Irvin. Let's go back. This is on board with the 48.
Nobody behind him, so no aero grief. Just a little loose, walking the dog. Just an overcorrection.
Yep.
Unfortunate for those involved. Hopefully this caution can give them some time to go get some damage repair and get those cars working again. Besides the 39 and the 1, it didn't look like there was a ton of damage, but they'll never want to have any damage on your race car.
Yeah, no meatball except the 46 in that earlier event. Everybody else has just got damage that they can get repaired and they can move on and get back out there.
Well, while we were digesting that wreck, we had a little bit of moving and shaking on pit road. Looked like everybody was going to come down pit road, and then at the last second, Keenan Schade said, nope, I'm not going to do it, and brought Gortman back out, Torres, a bunch of these guys, and we did see starting to have some ill-handling race cars. Corey Ennis was the first car to come down pit road, so he'll be the first car on tires, and we'll have to see if those can help him at all here. He did take 4, so going to have a big advantage here.
see if we can bring that back up. Here's the 6 going down. Says, oh, nope, headed back out.
You know, with the tire sets that you have available, I think we said we had 7 total tire sets, I believe
Yep.
was the number. So
Correct.
if you think, 150, you can go. I mean, if you're going every 30 laps and pitting, you'll still have plenty of tires. So we'll have to see how this works out for those guys who pit versus those who stayed out. But Steve Tucker chose this as an opportunity to come get some track position.
Yeah,
Now he finds himself up in the top 10.
As did Wenzel, who's now in 11th.
Yeah. Looks like we got some different strategies at play here, and it could definitely get crazy. I'd have to believe Wenzel took 2 tires, or yep, he did. He took 2 tires. We saw him avoid that wreck, came in and got 2 right sides, and we'll see how that helps him on this restart.
All right, top 8 drivers did not pit. All right, back underway to the restart zone. Lucas Gortman leads the field.
Gortman got a massive launch. Torres could not follow him through. The 10 of Wheeler did not get a great restart either. He's going to have to try and battle, but looks like Coriolis is going to gain a spot there. Now it's just where can he go with those new tires? How does he utilize them to his advantage here while they're fresh?
Still, those who did not come in still are maintaining their positions, but they're on the prowl. Coriolis moving up. To the outside, gets around the 97 of Jeff Ramsdale.
Yeah, he's doing a good job right now finding that clean air with those fresh tires, doing what he can. As you see him, he's going even higher than the cars in front of him, doing anything he can to get that car to turn.
Don't look now, Steve Tucker, who was sent to the back of the field with an EOL, is now running in 5th.
To see what Coriolis can do here. He's got a teammate in the 25 right in front of him, so you don't want to race him too hard, but at the same time with these fresh tires, you got to go. So we'll see how patient he can be with a teammate in front of him.
Door to door right there.
Coriolis trying his best to navigate his way up. Lucas Gortman is back down into the 29-second lap time ranges. He let them cool off, and it looks like those old tires have fired off nicely with the clean air as he started to drive a little bit away from the field right now. Jade in the 45 not quite able to keep up with him.
A lot of action back there, 3 wide. Jordan Wenzel finds himself in the middle of that.
10 car like to just stay out in that pit stop or that caution cycle. Doesn't seem like it's quite helping him. He was 20th whenever he did elect to stay out. Oh, we got a caution.
Dakota Reeder involved.
Looks like Shane Troutter's got some hefty front end damage as well. Looks like Shane Troutter's damage helped him earlier, was not involved.
See what happened to Dakota. Possibility he may have had a little help.
He's going into 1, nobody too close to him.
Oh.
Looks like he just loses the back under braking.
Yeah.
Nothing anybody did, just lost it and it went around on him. Oof, heavy contact with the outside wall. I have to see how much damage that car has.
Everybody gets around him. No collateral damage, except for the self-inflicted wound there. All right, Dakota Reeder finds himself in pit road trying to get some repairs made. We'll see what the field does. You know, these guys stayed out. It didn't. It wasn't a bad choice.
No, not at all. That's what I was thinking. If you didn't pit last time, unless you're outside of the top 15, I don't really see anybody electing to come. Looks like nobody's really gonna come unless We have a couple stragglers, maybe. Yeah, looks like we're gonna see a couple pitting from the very back, starting with Eddie Musso, Mike Wheel, Kai Collymore, the first on the pit road. Looks like Eddie's just gonna go ahead and throw left sides on it. Looks like he took 2 tires last time, didn't quite work out in his favor, so you know what some of these guys could also be doing is getting some damage repaired. We did see the 39 have heavy contact with the 1 car under that previous caution, so could be in there using this to try and get his car back into shape. We saw him making moves earlier, so hopefully he can get it fixed up and start slicing and dicing again.
We'll take the. This is one of those tracks where you can get a little bit of work done under a yellow and still not lose your position on track.
Absolutely. Hopefully it's enough time for him. But looks like right now just kind of pacing around. Lap times are about 1:15, so you can probably get about 50 seconds of damage fixed per caution lap. So
Yeah, that's
good enough.
Yeah, you can if you can get if a few cautions fly, you can string together some good repair work.
Absolutely. As we see some guys coming off pit road now. I think that's what they're doing, trying to get some damage fixed.
All right, the lights are off on the pace car. We'll be going back to green next time by. Lucas Gortman is the control car.
Unfortunately there for Corey Ennis. He didn't quite make the ground I think he wanted to make. And now with the heat cycle on the tire is going to take a little bit of life out of him. But he did leapfrog a row. So now maybe with a little bit extra clean air, maybe he can use those fresh tires a little bit better. But with how fast Gortman and all these guys in the top 5 fired off, I really don't see the tires overcoming the dirty air at this point.
All right, so Lucas Gortman will be leading the field back to the restart zone. He'll have Keenan Shoddy to the outside. You know, with this track and specifically with tracks that are just a little bit shorter than this one, there's so much advantage to being the control car.
Absolutely, so much easier to time up this launch. We'll see if maybe the 4 can take advantage of being behind him. Joe Torres didn't do a great job last time. We'll see this time. It looks like he is almost able to clear the 45. Brent Jones, that is.
It's a little bit of contact, I thought, with the 97, the 25. What have Jake Musso move down in front? Oh, 97 is sideways. He keeps it together.
Second time happened right in front of Corey Ennis, so he seemed to be a magnet for people spinning right off his nose without him touching him. Ooh, he gets loose a little bit that time.
Yep.
Gonna have no momentum here down the front stretch. That air that people are able to pack on your back bumper, there's just nothing that you can do about it. He did a great job hanging on to it. Gonna have to try and build some momentum back up and take the fight back to him.
It's got Jordan Wenzel right behind it, but they're still too wide.
We know Wenzel has a fast car, just needs a little bit more clean air to operate with it. We see Ennis up the track into the door of the 99 of Tyler Lem. Car not quite doing what he wants it to do right now.
It was contact. 99 dropped back down and let Corey know, hey, I'm here, dude.
Yeah, I don't think Tyler Lem appreciates being ran up the track quite this much. Tyler's not really somebody I'd stick my elbow into either. He's very purposeful with what he's able to do with his car, and I just don't know if that's somebody I'd choose to send up the track.
No, a little prickly.
Yeah, for certain.
A lot of action here as we get back underway. Just 11 laps to go before this stage. Those cautions, Jordan, I don't think fuel has really been a factor.
No, not at all. We might see it come into fruition in the second stage, but so far, looks like this has been the Lucas Gortman show. But don't look now. Steve Tucker trying to make a move on the 45. That would be for second. It'd get him back to his starting position at the beginning of the race, coming from last all the way up to potentially second in the first stage. Could be huge for the second half of this race for Tucker.
Yeah, congrats to Tucker to make it all the way back up. He elected not to go into the pits during any of those opportunities he has. So he's running on the same tires he had when he started the race. He has absolutely been able to claw back up to the top.
The commentator's curse right there. We start talking good about him, and he nabs the wall outside of turn 4. Looks like the right side's a little scuffed up, but no severe damage, it looks like. But he'll have to kind of get the mind refocused and take the charge back to the 45. But not much you can say other than how dominant Lucas Gortman has looked in this first stage. Starting to drive back away from the field once again. Just so smooth, so in control, and very purposeful right now with what he's doing with that 6 car.
Solid run by Lucas Gortman. He's got pretty much an empty windshield, no one in front. It's his line to run, his race to run as we chip away with just 8 laps to go in the stage.
Somebody on the other side of that equation, though, is Joe Torres. We saw him starting up towards the front, running in the top 5 for the majority of this race, and now he's slipping fast outside the top 10 and losing positions by the second. Currently in 13th as he gives potentially giving another spot up to Joseph Musso there, with Eric Jeffers lying in wait, hoping something happens, I believe. But just unfortunate right now for Torres. Gonna have to find a way to make those tires last a little longer than they are right now.
Yeah, he's on the same strategy as a number of those drivers, the top 5. He chose not to pit, not to come in to protect that position, and unfortunately it's kind of bit him. Certainly
one of the faster cars on the short run, so one of those guys I'd keep an eye on for later in the race if we happen to get some late cautions. But this long run pace is certainly concerning, with the second stage requiring a green flag pit stop.
Talk a little bit about saving tires and managing your tires during these runs.
Yeah, so Nashville's a tricky track to do that in. It feels like the corners last forever, so you really want to make sure you're not getting to the bottom too early in order to not have to yank on that wheel any harder than you really need to. But really making sure you're getting low, good drives off these corners. You don't want to let the car flare out too early and have to keep tugging on the wheel longer. You want to exit low, controlled, let it slowly go out to the wall. And you really want to think about how much friction is between that right front and the surface. So if we look at Gortman or any of these guys running up towards the front, we'll see him kind of take that slow arc down to the corner. Then we'll see him, he's just kind of slowly fading up, and he's not getting fully straight with this wheel until he's hitting the outside of the corner. Just doing a good job, long arc into 3. Such a long corner, doing a great job being patient, wrapping the bottom in that low exit right there. Gets good drive up off, and really doing a great job of saving that right front. It's one of those things where you're thinking, oh, but it looks like he can hit the gas earlier, like he's letting out of the wheel so quick and so soft. But yes, you can do that, but then you just end up shearing that right front. By shearing, it's just sliding across the surface, not actually gripping. So doing a great job of keeping that car under him in control as he's dominated this stage.
Yeah, one of the things that a lot of people forget is just how abrasive this concrete surface is. Not only the right front, but also you got to protect the rear tires in this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, Gortman's lap times right now are just insane. He's running 30.3s, only about 0.5 of fall off, and the next closest behind him, Sade's running 6s, Tucker's running 5s, Brian Jones is running 4s.
And the stage
he's faster than guys who are hitting. He's insane right now, Rick.
Absolutely. All right, stage caution flies here. Having a hard time talking tonight. Lap 51 comes out, and what you see there, Gortman wins that stage. Sade is in second, Tucker third, Jones, Musso, Walton, Lem, Wenzel, Wheeler, and Walden.
Good recovery from Tucker and Wenzel, taking those EOLs and able to fight their way back into the top 10. Have to see if those number 1 and number 2 pit stalls help these guys out at all, gaining some track position here on this pit stop.
Absolutely. All right, we'll be watching the field as they make their way around and make their way down onto pit road. We expect everybody will come down and get their full tank of, well, 3/4 tank of Sunoco fuel and 4 fresh Goodyear sticker tires.
As we saw there, tires seem to fire off well, so I wouldn't expect to see these guys down pit road more than maybe 2 more times the rest of this race. So every one of these pit stops is going to be vital. Got to make sure you execute it to the best of your abilities.
All right, they are coming down nose to tail, bumper to bumper onto pit road.
Portman able to stretch out that gap. You know, it looks like a couple of feet, but could be all he needs to keep the lead coming into his box over Sade. See if Wenzel can gain any spots from being in that first pit box. Such a short distance to get to that timing line. Looks like Wenzel will gain a couple of spots there. He came in 8th. Looks like he's going to come out 6th.
Yep.
Good pit stop for him, but well executed by Lucas Gortman to maintain the lead and keep that clean air that's oh so vital.
To the top 15 all, took 4 tires.
Now, one of the bigger losers there in that whole caution ordeal was Corey Ennis. Was the first car on 4 fresh tires and really couldn't do anything with them. So unfortunate for him. He's gonna have to come up with a new game plan here. It looks like he's 13th right now. So gonna have a little bit of work cut out for him to get back up to where he was running before that decision.
Yeah,
this will be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Back in row 7. We'll have Eric Jeffers to his outside.
We see Joe Torres there in that camera shot for a little bit. He's back in 15th position. Was our 3rd place car for majority of that stage. Just let it get away from him. So we'll have to see what adjustments he can make in his driving style to try and find a little bit more long run success here.
All right, 54 laps complete. They'll get the green when we go by at lap 55. We thank you all for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the iNRS Cup Series.
We'll see now. Now it's Jacob Mousseau in that catbird seat in 3rd. Have to see what type of launch he can get and see if he has anything for Gortman if he can get to 2nd.
Okay, into the restart zone. And Gortman is off. Back underway here.
Another great launch from Gortman. Clear by 3 car lengths going into 1.
Ooh, aggressive move
Tight
by
race behind him.
by the 4 of Brian Jones.
Everybody trying to get everything that they can get right now.
Yeah, we
Musso
saw earlier passing is just so hard.
Yeah, Musso can see this little glimmer of hope to get to 2nd right now. Try and get a little bit of clean air, but Sade's been so tough to get around, running that top lane very well. Good drive off. We'll have to see what Jacob can do here in 1 and 2.
Steve Tucker right behind the 25.
Good corner there for Jacob, but just not enough. Sade's too strong in that top line to get around. That's kind of what we were talking about earlier. the bottom is the preferred way around this track, no doubt about it, but just not being able to get that throttle fully depressed when you have a guy outside makes it so hard to get around people.
So while they're battling, you can see that the 6 of Gortman is able to stretch out just a little bit more, over almost over half a second.
Yeah, right now himself and Sade are the only people in the 29-second bracket. It's absolutely flying right now, and you can see it on the tracker there, on the sidebar there. Just absolutely flying compared to the rest of the field right now. Almost a tenth quicker there though for Sade. Have to see if that can keep up. Maybe he's found a little bit of something. Could also have just been a bad lap from Gortman, but interesting to see.
Yeah, once you get a little bit of heat in those tires and you're running the line that works best for you, always an opportunity. Again, it's about not making mistakes and capitalizing on when the driver that you're trying to get around makes a mistake. You've got to pay attention and just stay focused.
Yeah, absolutely, but unfortunately for him, the guy in front of him is one of the fewest mistake makers we have in this league. Gortman is so consistent, so good at just hitting his line every single lap. It's going to take a lot to get around him, but Sade's shown that he's the second best car that we have out here tonight, and he's proved it. Battled off a lot of people trying to take away that second spot from him. So we'll have to see if maybe he can go up there, find a little bit of something, and give Gortman a little challenge for his throne right now. Start to see that 45 starting to try and find a little bit different lane there. Entering a little higher than what he was before, trying to do anything he can to keep some clean air on that nose of that race car, keep it turning without having to abuse those tires too much. So hard to follow somebody's tire tracks and make the car do anything that you want it to do, so he's having to search around a little bit as he gets closer to the back bumper of Gortman.
Yeah, you can see him, he's trying to leverage that, but at the same time, you still have to be able to drive the car your way.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Gortman seems to be leaving that, fourth of a lane open below him to that yellow line, and Sade is doing a good job of sticking that left front right in that little gap, doing everything he can to get a little bit of air on it, but it's got to be careful. There's no slight banking transition at Nashville. It's just banking, no banking. And if he even touches that apron, that car is not going to like it and shoot straight up the track.
You can see last lap, he picked up a little bit.
Looks like Gortman's starting to find it again, almost a tenth faster than Sade that lap. But it's not like it's for the lack of trying or the lack of speed. I mean, he's drove away from Jacob Musso behind him. Jacob's doing a good job of keeping within an arm's reach. Oh! He's in the wall behind. Big contact.
Also, Gary Wells also, I think, went for a little off-track excursion as well. Not sure what happened to the 87, but looks like a little bit of time spent in the grass.
It looks like, I don't know if we want to take a look back at it, but it looks like the 25 may have had some help getting into turn 3 there last lap. Didn't seem too pleased as we see the 87 going for a nice little escapade there. Lawnskeeper's not going to be too happy with him on that one. But unfortunate for the 25, Jacob Musso running in third, and sounds like wasn't necessarily his fault that he now has to make an unscheduled green flag pit stop. Hefty damage to the right side of that car.
Yep, trying to find exactly what happened.
That lonely drive down pit road, never a good feeling. See, that car's all out of whack, all skewed off. Just unfortunate. See him right. So it looks like the 25 had a slight bobble coming out of 2. 0 had a run and wow, just drove through him. Quite honestly. About wrecked himself doing so. Doesn't look like the 25 changed his braking marker at all. Looks like he's entering the corner as normal and just oof.
Yeah, there's a little contact for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the 0 about wrecking himself there in 3 and 4. Probably sent it in there a little deep, trying to make that crossover work. Misjudged it, got into the back of the 25. Nothing the 25 could do or
Nope.
even try and do to save that car, and just unfortunate for the 25. Probably not gonna race the 00 or the 0 quite as nice for the rest of the season, if I had to guess.
27 of Coriolis right there on the bumper of the 0.
That's a teammate of the 25, so he might go take some vengeance into his own hands, if I had to guess right here.
Maybe a little payback.
Yeah, I'd say that that 0 probably doesn't have very many friends on the racetrack right now with the numbers that SFM has. We're able to drive on by, gone from 13th to 6th so far on this green flag run. Doing a great job of making back those spots that he lost from that pit call in stage 1.
Good move by the 0, maybe giving the 27 a little bit of space.
Never hurts. As we see from the timing tower though, looks like Sade's starting to eat back into Gortman's lead. Has it under 4/10. Had a little bit of difficulties getting around a lapper, caught him in a bad spot. So gonna have to try and build something back up, but that last lap Gortman ran a 30.48 to Sade's 30.46. So a little faster even while getting around that lap car. Have to see if that's consistent or if Gortman was maybe saving a little bit.
See Brian Jones making a move as well, trying to get up there, but really it's the Gortman-Sade show right now.
Absolutely. Jones was a big benefactor of the 25 and 0's escapades there, so he saw 2 guys starting to get a little bit of handsiness with each other and said, don't mind if I do. Little 2-for-1 action. Now he finds himself back up to 3rd.
Oh, 27 going around.
Ooh.
Caution
Big
flies,
wreck.
yeah.
Walden involved. Have to see what happened here. You got that aero grief that I was talking about earlier. That car got right up behind him, took all the load out of the back of Coriolis' car right there, and really just nothing that you can do to try and hang on to it. Oh,
That's where the
big hit there.
43 got involved right there.
That's probably going to be a day ender for the 43 and the 27. Unfortunate for those two. Needed some good points days for both of them, and doesn't look like today is going to amount to much as we see the just damage that's going on with those 2 front wheels for the 27.
Yeah, the 43 also has a meatball at this point. He's got to make some repairs.
While we're looking at this and that big damage on the 27, looks like Keenan Sade missed the memo here that it was pitting time. He's the only driver to stay out. Now the only benefit to this is all these guys who are pitting are still going to have to make 2 stops. Or 1 stop, sorry, from this moment in time. So he's going to be at a disadvantage here. Going to be on older tires with no cars buffering, trying to help him out here. But he does have the clean air, and we saw how good Gortman and him were able to fire off last time. So this will be a let's just say this is an interesting call from Keenan here to stay out.
Yeah, he's got 27 or so laps on those tires. Let's bring up a little bit of telemetry right now. He's got a little bit better than a half a tank of fuel. He's just betting on another caution coming out before he's out.
Yeah, so as we saw before, with the amount of cars that stayed out, this is about the same time that caution flew in stage one. They were able to make it work, but the difference was that the guys with fresh tires were not going to start next to them. They were starting behind them by quite a few rows. So we'll have to see. He's got to make sure he gets them cleaned off for this restart. But if he can maintain the clean air, he has a chance to hold on here. Just going to be way off cycle with the field now.
All right, our telemetry is catching back up with us. Lights are off on the pace car. This restart will be at the, I guess, in the control car, the 46. He will have the 6 to his outside. A little like the tables are turned a little bit here.
Yeah, for sure. 2 guys I'd keep my eye on here. Well, really 3 guys. The 4 car, the 81, and the 99. They know how dominant that 6 car has been. So we'll have to see, does the 99 elect to push the 4 if he can? Does he take it 3 wide? And if the 45 washes up and takes the 6 up the track with him in 1 and 2, can the 81 or 4 slip underneath him and take the lead from him?
Jordan Wenzel has found his way back up to the front. He has clawed through a lot of traffic to get back.
Absolutely has. Pace car diving off, leaving the field in the hands of the 45 car.
Green flag flies here at Nashville Superspeedway. And the 45 jumps up, gets a good jump on this restart.
The 4 is going to be able to clear the 6 here in 1 and 2. And I slide up in front of him, take the clean air away. Now it puts the 4 as the leader of this pit stop strategy. 6 probably not going to want to stay behind him for long. But right now they got to work together. Ooh, 4 sent it in way deep in 3, and 4 going to open up the bottom for the 6.
Doing his best to hold them off, but the 6 has got to run.
Yeah, right now that 45 is loving what he's seeing. The 6 car not being the one right behind him. He knows he has a pace advantage over the 4. He's wanting them to get a little racy. 6 car nabs the wall a little bit. Could see a run from the 81 materialize. Doesn't look like it's going to quite happen.
6 got a little loose there. Fresh tires.
Now, you got to remember, this is a situation Lucas Gorman has not been in very much, if at all, tonight. Behind another car in dirty air. He's going to have to find a way to get that clean air on the front end of that car and try and find a way to now make his car work while not having the benefit of clean air. We see him tight again and into the wall. Not liking being behind another car right now.
Smoking hot lap by Keenan Shoddy at 29.87. Fastest lap of the race.
These tires, they don't seem that they're wearing as far as lap time goes. It looks like it's just heat buildup. The hotter the tire gets, the worse it's going to perform. So we'll just have to see how he can manage this and nurse it all the way to the pit stop. If he can pit from the lead, he gives himself a chance, but he's got to hold these guys off till around lap 100 or so. And one thing we really haven't talked about, this pit exit is tricky at Nashville. It's flat, no banking, and it's slick. Very easy to spin out on it. So if we hit the stage where we're getting green flag pit stops, these guys gotta make sure they keep the car under control getting off pit road, but also maximize the amount of speed you're able to carry. Very fine line that they have to walk.
All right, just past the halfway point. 70 laps to go here at Nashville Superspeedway. Just had a handful of leaders here. Total, Lucas Gorman and Keenan Shoddy. That's it.
Yeah, it's definitely been a show between those two for the most part of this race, but now that the 4 car's found himself in front of the 6, he's doing a good job. 6 keeps nabbing that wall at a 2, not giving himself a chance to have any runs down this backstretch into 3. keeping the 81 right there on the 6's bumper as well, so the 6 got to be careful.
Yeah, it's
Right
not
now,
like there's just not like a lot of lines around this track. You've just got to find your opportunity, because it's not going to be easy to drive around on the outside.
Yeah, for sure, Rick. He's got to just wait and bide his time right now. Not much he can really do. 4 car looks a little on edge, so if maybe the 6 can just find a little bit of time to pack some air into that rear bumper in the center of a corner on exit, he has a chance. But certainly, as you can see, a lot more wheel getting put into that car center corner than whenever we were on board with him earlier. Not turning quite as well due to the fact of not having the clean air that he had earlier.
Another thing that's coming into play here is that braking zones are different driver to driver, and now he's got a car in front of him. He's got to rethink exactly how he attacks this corner, because he doesn't have another line to jump into.
Oh, absolutely. And the big thing with that also is you don't want to really be braking much later than that guy, because then you're just going to get closer and closer to him. More dirty air in the front end, and there's a high chance that your car just takes straight up off towards the wall if you're not careful about managing how this air is hitting the front bumper.
It's almost like you're trapped.
It very much feels that way, especially at a track like Nashville where it's a single lane. You can try and experiment with the top lane as we see him do here. You can have a big run coming down the front stretch, but just feels like you get so tight on exit, it never really materializes, and then you're stuck there scratching your head just trying to figure out what can you do to get around the guy in front of you.
And it's almost like you really are there waiting for the guy in front of you to make a mistake or get caught up in traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the caution that we had there, really bunched the field back up. I mean, there's only 7 seconds separating the leader and the 20th place car right now, so not like lap traffic's even close to becoming an issue right now. Definitely gonna have a lot more green flag racing, and this is playing into the hand of Keenan Sade perfectly. Maybe he did know what he was doing, Rick, and we all just didn't, but so far he's making himself look like a master of strategy.
Yeah, he's going to get himself up to at least lap 100 or maybe a little bit more to start setting up that next and his final pit stop.
Yeah, for sure. And right now what he's doing is a great job just managing his stuff. He's slowly but surely just kind of stretching that gap out to the 4. Not big jumps, just little jumps here and there. But build himself a buffer for whenever he pits.
Well, everybody's going to have to stop one more time.
The big risk with the 45 now is that he has to pit so much earlier than the rest of these guys. So anything happening from the time that he's rolling on pit road towards until he unlaps himself it's stressful times for the 45. The bigger lead that he can build on the 4 car, the higher likelihood that he has of being able to stay on the lead lap whenever he pits. I'm not positive on roll time, Rick, but I would assume it's anywhere from 40 to 50 seconds.
You're
in
correct.
Pit lane.
Yeah. So
and then you add in and pit out, so you're looking at probably a minute of total time lost. So he's definitely got to build himself a buffer.
We haven't seen a green flag stop, so right now the only time we have from pit entry to exit is somewhere about 46 or so seconds. But of course that gets a little bit better under green flag conditions. But some things you just can't change. Your speed is limited on pit road.
Yeah, and I mean they're running 30.3 second lap time, so for sure going to go a lap down with that roll time, and definitely going to be buried quite a bit behind the leader. So right now it's all just about building as big of a gap as you can, and I mean if worse comes to worse, you just want to make sure you're the lucky dog at the very least. So doing what he has to do right now, and just caution.
Kai Collmore involved.
This changes everything, Rick.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still spinning.
Everything we sat there and debated about the time goes out the window.
Looks like he's got some rear end damage on that 39 Mustang. Have to see what happened here. Battling around Tony Japs and Zach Carter. Ooh, 42 gets loose in front, overcorrects.
Takes him out.
Nothing the 39 could do.
Nope.
Give credit where credit is due here. That 39 did a great job of keeping that car from getting any more tore up. I mean, getting a guy spinning and overcorrecting right in your lap like that, it's hard to avoid getting minutes upon minutes of damage, and he did a great job of keeping that car off the wall.
All right. Good little fake out by Brian Jones. He stays out, but just like we saw Keenan Shoddy, Jones is the only car that stayed out that was not a lap down.
Interesting call here. This is close to the window. Gonna go green with probably around 56 laps to go. Could see somebody try and save a little bit and make it from here, and if so, Jones would be the odd man out. We'll have to see. Might see some 2-tire calls from those guys who just pit, seeing how tires aren't that important. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Looks like that's what the 6 is doing. 99 as well. 10 taking 2. A lot of guys taking 2 tires. Track position is that important. A lot of 2-tire stops sprinkled throughout the field.
Yeah, you see right there, Brian Jones. Obviously, he came in 18 laps ago, but everybody who just pit that time, you see Gortman, Lem, Wheeler, all took 2 tires. Keenan Shoddy took 4. Ramsdale 2. Eddie Musso 2 as well. So, number of guys gambling on this pit stop.
Now, the one thing that the 45 didn't like to see with that caution is he kind of had himself in a box. Running all those laps on that set of tires, you can't really come in and just stick 2 on it. Really got to come in and do 4, while these guys who pit 18 laps ago had the flexibility, like we saw Gortman do, to take 2.
Yep. And
now we just got to see if those 2 tires can hang on and what the 4 can do now. We haven't seen the 4 at front at all. Been the Gortman and Sade show, so new face up front. Have to see if he can hang on like those 2 have.
Absolutely. All right, Dakota Reeder gets a lap back and gets the lucky dog. He'll be back on the lead lap on the restart. Right now, the last car on the lead lap will be Tony Japs, who was involved in that incident.
The saving grace for the 45 here is he is on that inside line, so he has to be a little excited about that fact. Might be able to leapfrog the 10 going into turn 1, and then it's going to be all about how he can get back up to the 6. We know the 4 car, no matter what, cannot make it, and I don't think any of these guys towards the front are going to be saving gas like that, but I wouldn't rule out a Vince Burns, a Joe Musso, a Kai Collymore, any of those guys kind of in the back half of the top 20. What do they have to gain by going hard right now?
Yeah, nothing. Take the fuel savings and be there at the end.
Have to see how it all plays out as the field's in the 4 car of Brian Jones' hands. Great launch by him. Not a great launch from the 45, though.
Nope.
6 car is clear for second.
Keep an eye on the 10 of Matt Wheeler. He is up 16 spots, currently running in 4th.
If you notice there, a lot of those guys who took 2 tires that are up towards the front are those IRFK cars, so clearly all of them wanted to get on the same strategy, and they've all found themselves up here inside the top 10. So good strategy call so far coming out of that group.
2, 3, 4, and 6 for IRFK drivers.
They're certainly taking the RFK in their name to heart. I see them running close together on Sundays, and on Thursdays it looks like they're doing their best to follow suit. So good for those guys right now, having a good run. We'll see if it can pay off for them here in about 55 more laps.
All right, Brian Jones out in front. Caution flies again. Darrell Young Jr. involved. 71, the 85 gets involved, 84 as well. That's Young, Jeffers, Reeder, and Daffin. And Dakota Reader just got his lap back and unfortunately got tangled up in that incident.
Looks like he's got some decent right front damage. Daffin's car looks a little worse for wear there on the front end. Not quite have that Chevy point that they're known for anymore, so I have to go get that hammered back out. Oh, looks like a little 3, maybe 4 wide action gone wrong. Just 2 wide. Looks like the 9 was trying to peek outside. 28 with a big run coming inside, but looks like the 55 just got a little tight and helped the 71 come around.
28 slips by below, but the 5 gets caught up as a 71 drifts up.
87 and 39 got by the skin on their teeth, able to thread the needle down low as the 71 was starting to come around. Unfortunate for these guys, but this will change up the fuel strategy a little bit. Obviously, we know the 4 car can't make it, but a lot of these leaders are going to be able to save a lot of gas under caution here. This could very well turn into a fuel strategy race.
Yeah, we do see that Steve Tucker has now he's in the pits.
If there's one guy in this league that I know can save a lot of fuel, it's the 81 of Jordan Wenzel. We see him do it on road courses all the time, and super speedways. He's always been my fuel saving buddy in this league, and we work very well together while doing that, no matter how boring it is. But he's one of those guys that's able to get the most out of his car lap time wise while also prolonging that fuel life to the best that it can go. So he's one person that I'd keep my eye on if we do indeed go green here to the end, as one that could potentially be the best on fuel.
Well, that worked out pretty well so far for Brian Jones. He should be doing his best to save fuel. Jump on board real quick and see if he's trying to take any additional action to save fuel.
Looks like he just got it in 5th. Looks like not really clutching or anything, just keeping it in 5th.
Yeah, just dog paddling around a little bit.
It's just he's going to need a lot of calamity if he wants to make it. I think unfortunately he did not want to see that caution come out, make it harder for everybody else to make it. Now I think his bet is made. He's got to ride this thing all the way out, hope we get, 35 laps green or so, and right before he has to pit, catch a caution and hopefully drag a lot of them down with him. But another thing, you never know, maybe he makes the leaders, maybe he runs this pace hard and the leaders can't resist trying to go get the lead and run themselves out of gas, and then it gives it to somebody else. You'll never know, but we'll find out here in about 53 laps.
That's right. All right, drivers enter the Echo Park restart zone momentarily. Brian Jones is in control. He jumps early. He goes right at as the field enter the restart zone. He shot off. He did not wait to let people figure out what he was doing, and boom, off he goes. Good jump by the 4.
Yeah, great jump by him. Great jump by Lucas Gortman, able to clear for 2nd right now. Tyler Lemon 3rd behind. Sade, not a great restart again. He's trying to battle with Matthew Wheeler for 5th. Looking down low on him now, but just not able to get the restarts that he needs. Starting to hurt him as we see the 81 fall back a bit. Could be saving gas, could be saving tires. We'll never know until we get to the end of this thing. But a face coming back up towards the front. Joe Torres in the 3. We know he has that short run speed, but he lacks on the long run speed. Right now, this is when he has to take advantage of his strength and get his way to the front.
Yeah, he drops under the 97 of Ramsdale and crawls up on the bumper of the 45.
So hard to make that pass stick on the bottom. He's going to have to work him over here for a lap or two. Going to need to have one good corner and then just slide up in front of him and take it. Right there, ran him up a little bit. Didn't quite give the 97 the exit arc that he wanted. Made the 97 lift just a little bit for him, and he takes that spot. Great pass by the 3. Now he has his sights set on the 45, trying to go chase down more of these leaders.
Back up front, Brian Jones got a rear view mirror full of Lucas Gortman.
What we've seen with these two earlier is throughout this portion of the run, normally it's Brian Jones in traffic and Gortman in clean air, but normally at this point of the run, Jones can hang with Gortman lap time wise. He's able to keep him in check, but once we get about 20-25 laps on those tires, Jones really starts to fall and Gortman starts to shine. Now the roles are reversed though, and Jones has the clean air. We'll have to see if maybe that also flips and he's able to start driving away from Gortman.
Yeah, also another factor that plays into this is his driving style. There's depending on how much wheel you put into this, you could easily scrub off some of that tire and put yourself at jeopardy in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. Just such a balancing act that these guys are playing right now. See there in the bottom, Eddie and the Musso Jr. in the pits. Seems like something went wrong towards the back half of the field. Unfortunately, had some drivers off track that you saw, but it looks like things are clean and green for the meantime. But it looks like Wenzel was able to get around the 3 car. Torres up puts Wenzel up to 6. Sade all over the rear bumper of Wheeler, trying to get something to happen here. So far, a lot of single file racing. Everybody kind of just biding their time. I think they know what's at play here, trying to get themselves in the best position possible to take advantage of it. Oh, see a lawnmower. It looks like. Oh no, that's the one car going through the. Oh, he's spinning it.
That's Shane Trotter. Do a little dirt tracking.
Yeah, I think that he's at the wrong type of track to do that. I think he's also in the wrong type of car. Looks like he's having a good time though.
Yeah. It's still pointed in the right direction. But he that was him. The one also Vince Burns had a similar incident as well.
Looks like that one car had a lot of damage on it, so he's seems like he's been at war most of this race. So good job of hanging on to it. He'll keep trucking and see what he can make out of his day. But a car that cracked the top 10 that we haven't talked about all night, really, besides missing wrecks or being inside of them, is Kai Collymore. Finds himself up in 8th place right now. Picking cars off one at a time. Got some damage earlier. Had to be in the pits for an extended amount of time repairing it. So you see him again. Downstairs curse. I sent him right into the wall on the exit of 2. It looks like Torres is either saving fuel or starting to slide way back here, as he's lost a couple spots here going for the crossover, but Torres started to slide back like we saw earlier in the race, Rick.
Yeah, he got a little loose and had to figure out a way to keep it pointing in the right direction. He saved it, but unfortunately that gave up some track to the 39, and now they're battling here.
Looks like these guys are racing hard, but giving each other the space needed. The 3 car could have easily slid up right there on the backstretch and left the 39 with no option other than to either lift or run him over, but gave him the lane. 39's gonna go on by. Obviously 42 laps to go still in this race, so a lot of fuel needs to be saved if they want to make it, possibly, as well as tires, so we'll never know. Torres could be just lying in the weeds waiting and saving his stuff.
For Brian Jones, we still expect him. He's got to come in at some point.
Absolutely. While we were watching the 39 and 3 throw haymakers at each other, it looks like the 45 of Sade finally able to work over the 10 of Wheeler, finds himself up to 4th. And he's got to go track down Gortman. That is for the effective race lead. We know Jones has to pit. So right now, Jones is leading these laps, getting the TV time that he likes, but he will eventually be required to come down pit road while we think most of the other drivers are going to be able to make it on fuel.
Another driver who we haven't talked a whole lot about, who now finds himself in 3rd, up 11 positions, is Tyler Lem. He's up to 3rd.
Very Tyler Lem-esque day. Very under the radar, not really getting himself into into bad situations besides the little elbows exchange with Corey Ennis, but and now doing a great job piloting that 99 machine up in third, keeping Gortman in his sights. That's all it takes. Make sure Gortman knows he can't just run away and hide. He's gonna have to contend with you, and right now Lem doing a great job of that, but don't look too far behind, because there's the 45 who's been Gortman's arch nemesis, if you want to call it that, tonight.
All right, up front, Brian Jones, last pitted lap 73.
Factor in a couple cautions since then, and he's looking like he can probably make it to about lap 130, roughly, maybe a little further, maybe a little less. So far, he's gone 40 laps. We know probably about 8 of those have been under caution, so figure he can go 60 laps. So he can make it close to lap 130, maybe a little further, 135, but certainly going to be hard for him to even contend with these guys who have a lot more fuel in the tank and can possibly go the distance.
Right now, our telemetry shows somewhere about a third of a tank of fuel left. It's probably not going to be enough to make it that 37 laps.
Obviously, he's still shifting, so I think he's gave up any sort of hope that he could try and save the amount of fuel that he needs to do it. He's just going to go full bore and pray that things work out for him. It's about all you can do in this situation. So, done a good job of getting himself the track position that he needs, just unfortunately did so at the expense of needing the fuel.
Coming up on a lap down car, or that could be Shane Trotter, who is the last car on the lead lap. That is who that is. That is Shane Trotter.
Saw him dirt tracking it not that long ago, so at least now he's on the racing surface, staying out the way, being a respectable off-the-pace car.
Of course, at this point, he now plays a little bit of an interesting role because he's back there and he's got the guys who are chasing down Brian Jones that have to work their way around him.
Yeah, certainly. Right now for Gortman, it's about showing the nose. Where do you want to go? Make sure this one car does not take away your lane. Don't give him the opportunity to even think about it. One car, though, doing a great job, staying way out of the way, running the top. Just got to be careful as you pass these lap cars. Got to ensure that you don't catch them in a bad spot, and that you don't catch them on corner exit or center corner and they're in your way. But those guys did a great job working their way around them. But right behind these guys, looks like we have an intense battle for 5th between Collymore, Wheeler, and Torres. Looks like Collymore's finally established that position as he continues to make his way up towards the front. Running some good lap times right now. Just got to make sure you get the fuel to last. I think that's the big concern for everybody right now.
Absolutely. Looking on back in the field, trying to see there's Wenzel working his way back up. A little bit of a battle back here for 10th here. You got Joe Musso, but he's got Austin Walton and Ramsdale right there as well.
We got a lot of single file racing for the most part. It looks like everybody kind of just minding their business.
Yep.
Trying to get themselves where they want to be, position themselves, but currently I think everybody in these top 5 eyes are set on Lucas Gortman. I think he's the guy you got to try and get in front of right now. Caution comes out and you're staying out. We all know the 4 car is going to pit. So that's going to leave the field in Gortman's hands, and obviously we've seen what that leads to tonight.
Absolutely. So right now the 4 of Brian Jones, he's got about almost nearly a full straightaway before he has to deal with any lap down traffic. But the times are ticking, the laps are slipping away, and the fuel is emptying out of that number 4 Ford Mustang. He has got to be, at this point, getting a little bit nervous. He's got about a 1 second, which is actually the biggest gap he's had over the 6th tonight.
Yeah, he's doing a good job doing what he has to do. Run the fastest laps you can. I would not be surprised if whenever he comes down to pit, he just takes 2 tires or makes a bold call like that. You got to do what you have to do to try and stay on this lead lap. If you have to take a wave around or the lucky dog, then you're going to have to restart at the back of the field, and there's just no way. You need to stay on the lead laps. That way if others pit, you leapfrog their positions. So he's got a lot to think about right now. Certainly would not want to be in his position at this point in the race. But, you know, he's leading. Everything's good until it isn't, and right now it's good. So we'll see how long he can last up there.
It's going to be super hard to do anything. It's taken, right now, you look at the times, around 30 or so, 31 seconds for a current lap. Looking through the previous lap times to get on pit road, get service, and get off, you're going to go a lap down. There's no way around it.
Certainly a tough situation to be in, but one thing I have noticed is the 2 cars that are consistently the fastest on the track are the 39 of Kai Collymore and then the... Oh, caution is out!
Oh, Gary Wells.
Seems like that might be the 2nd or 3rd time we've heard of Gary being around tonight. This track has not treated him very nicely at all.
Nope. But someone who's breathing a big sigh of relief right now is that 4, Brian Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like many other people are more than likely going to pit with him. So, going to be a lonely pit road, but going to save himself a lap, stay on the lead lap, and give himself 4 or 2 fresh tires to fight for.
All right, so caution flies for the 7th time tonight here at lap 124 with just a handful, well, a bigger handful, 20 or so laps left in this contest. Brian Jones was up there needing a pit stop, needing a caution, and the flag did fly with an incident with Gary Wells. But as Jordan just said, is it too little too late? Who else will go in? Oh, he's getting a number of drivers come in.
A lot of takers, a lot more than I thought. I guess they were not saving enough fuel to make it.
Everybody is coming in.
It could be a 2-tire stop here, Rick. We'll have to see who can execute the best on and off pit road right now. Big gaps between these front cars, so a lot of room between these cars. A lot of time that can be won or lost with these gaps.
Right side's going on the 4. He took a 2.
4 cars doing 2.
Yep, 4 cars doing 2. 6 car did 2.
4 cars going to stay in the lead, Rick.
Oh my gosh. Huge. That was massive.
It'll be interesting to see how his tires hold up. Obviously, we know his left sides are going to be much older than everybody else's around him. And then we'll have to see who decided to take 4 tires there. I would have to assume some people did. Maybe like a Collymore lost some spots. Sade.
Yeah. Collymore, Torres, Young, Walden, Ramsdale, Musso, Irvin. All those guys took 4 tires.
We'll have to see. We know how aggressive some of those guys are. Yeah, Sade, he's been fast all night. Collymore's coming on there strong towards the end. Found himself in the top 5 for the first time. We know Torres has the short run speed to contend with anybody. But it all going to come down to this restart, which is going to be in the hand of Brian Jones.
Yeah, 5
he got
drivers.
A good launch last time.
He did. 5 drivers took 2 tires only. Jones, Gortman, Lem, Wenzel, Wheeler. And as Jordan mentioned, their tires are not nearly as old on the left side as Jones.
I have to see. That was one of our longer green flag runs of the night. So definitely the oldest that we've seen these left side tires be on most of these cars. These caution laps are going to help cool them back down, but just we'll have to see. I think the 2 tires is the option here, but we'll have to keep an eye on the 45, 3, and 39, see if they can make any inroads with these 4 tires early and see if they can pay off. But it's all going to come down to this restart. Who can execute this restart the best? Can the 99 get 3 wide with the 4 and the 6? Can the 6 stay on the outside of the 4? Can the 81 take advantage somehow? A lot of people having to do a lot of different things to put themselves in the best situation to win this race. It could get chaotic.
Eyes are on the 4, Brian Jones, as he enters that restart zone. Does he go right away? That paid off for him last time.
Have to see. Don't want to be too predictable. We'll see what he does here. Hitting the box. Looks like he will go early and get a good launch there. 99 with a good launch as well. 10 car not so much. Going to stack up those 4 tires behind him.
Oh, they're going super wide behind. Three wide, wrecking in the back. The 5 car, Zach Carter involved. And the 87 have Gary Wells.
Looks like Gary is just not having the night that he wants to have tonight. Unfortunate for him. Meatball flag for the 79 of Scott Thomas. Looks like his day is more than likely done. All the 5 of Zach Carter collected there as well.
They're 3 wide, and the 79 is in the middle. He gets some contact with the 0. That's what caused the 5 to get sideways. A little contact with the 79.
Oh, big hit there for Gary Wells in the 87. Saw that left front lift off. Be interesting to see, Rick, if we can go a little further back and with the 0 car, see if he really dove it in there like it looked like he did. Ooh, big hit there from the 79.
Yep.
That car is done, but it'll be interesting to see if he dove it in from as far back as we thought he did, or if he was already there. Looked like it could have been a lunge, but it looks like he's already there to the left side. Looks like he's off the bottom just a touch, and the 79 thought he was going to be down. 79 just in a bad situation there. Kind of going up, coming back down, getting hit, ping-ponging, and about all she wrote for the 79.
Yep, unfortunately, that's a meatball flag for the 79 with Scott Thomas. All right, caution-wise, that's for the 8th time. A number of drivers on pit road. Thomas, Jeffers, Trotter, Wells, all the guys who were involved in that incident on pit road. They'll get some repairs made, but the real story is the 4 and the 6 up front here with just 20 laps to go.
We'll have to see if the 4 decides to go early or late again. That early restart has been working out for him mighty fine. But behind him, it all depends on what type of restart the 99, the 81 get. Do they push the guy in front of them? Do they try and take it 3 wide? Consistently, the worst restarts we've seen out of these top 10 guys has been the 10 car. Just doesn't seem like he can get moving. Does that stack up the inside line behind him, cause chaos, or does that lead to opportunity? Can the 39 find a way to slip out around him? Does it give the 45 space to operate?
Yeah, and plus you've seen that
situations.
You've seen that 4 car on these restarts pretty much go within a car length of entering the restart zone. Is that enough of a tell? Will the 6 of Gortman kind of gamble a bit on that and say, okay, he's been going early. Do I risk it?
I think the 6 car saw from sitting behind him for so many laps that it's going to be hard to pass him if he doesn't take a little bit of a risk. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Gortman rolling maybe 2 mile an hour faster coming to the box, try and get that forward momentum built up so whenever the 4 hits the gas, you react, but you're not already bleeding so much speed from being the same speed as him. So we'll have to see. I mean, if I was the 6 car, I would be ready to go as soon as our front bumper is touching the line for the restart box. But these guys all have their own ways to restart, and Gortman is a successful enough driver to where anything he does, I cannot doubt it. He is one of the best at everything that this league has to offer. So we'll have to see if he can pull off the miracle that would be getting around the first place driver at Nashville.
Well, and he's got the 81 in his rearview mirror, so Jordan Wenzel has found the way to get back in position here in the waning laps of this race.
Yeah, for sure. He's obviously coming from the back. He's had his work cut out for him, but looking now, he's staring down a potential top 5, potential podium, even a win. He's got a good chance. We'll have to see what happens here.
Oh, so Brian Jones changed it up a little bit. He hung out for the longest possible time in that restart zone. Did not go, and that paid off big for the 4.
Yeah, and also the 99 able to get clear for second. That's huge for him. He's got a chance now. The 10 car once again with a very poor restart stacked up the whole inside line, caused a lot of chaos behind him. Gonna have to see now if everybody can get going forward, but Brian Jones is exactly what he wants to see. A car that's not the 6 of Gortman in his rearview mirror, a car that he's been in front of for most of the night in his rearview mirror. Now it's just about 19 straight qualifying laps. So who can make the best lap time for 19 straight laps is going to walk out of here a lot happier. So we got 3 wide behind with the 10, the 45, and the 39.
39 down low. Oh, spinning. The 10 goes up in the wall. Keeps it pointing in the right direction. No caution.
Tight race in there. Looks like the 45 entered a higher than the 10 was expecting. Just got into him. But as we see, Brian Jones just set the fastest lap of the race. These guys are hauling the mail. There's no tire saving anymore. That's a 29.819 for Brian Jones in the 4 car. So about a 10th off of pole, 10th and a half off pole time for qualifying.
Yeah.
Isn't too bad on those old left side tires.
No, he's figured that out for sure. A lot of action going on behind the top 5. There's a lot of battling for position here. 2 and 3 wide at times. See the 0 of Steve Tucker trying to make his way back up. Oh, caution flies again.
Caution is out.
Eddie Musso involved, 26.
Great rowdy tribute Skittles machine. Fortunate to see it around. Looks like the 10 might have been involved with the 26. See what happens here. The 10 looks low. 26
Maybe,
clearly there. And
yeah, a little bit of a contact.
yeah, it looks like the 10 might have been taking some of the frustration with the 45 out on the 26 there. Kind of taking the anger out on the messenger. Messenger didn't do anything. He was just there. And unfortunately for the 26, he was red and the bull was behind him.
Yeah.
That's just unfortunate for Eddie.
All right, 9th caution of the night with just 15 laps to go.
Little different order that we have at the front now. We got obviously Brian Jones still in the lead, but Tyler Lem now going to be restarting in 2nd with Gortman in 3rd. Unless some guys are going to pit. I was going to say, I don't think anybody's coming down pit road anymore. I think the pit crews can go ahead and start packing their stuff up. I think they're done for the night. But
couple
like I was
takers.
saying, yeah, a couple guys from the back, looking to change up some things. Obviously, some of those guys have damage and whatnot. Need to get that fixed as well. But if you're running, 13th, 14th, what could 4 tires hurt at this point? If you have them, use them.
Yeah, the only driver who was running in the top 10 up there was the 0 of Tucker. He elected to pit. Not sure we haven't seen what, even with 4 tires, that it makes that big a difference.
Absolutely. But we'll have to see now. I mean, Colleymore's the best with 4, who took 4 tires. He's in 5th now. We got Gortman going to be restarting 3rd in front of him, which is different for Gortman.
Yep.
He's got to try and do what he can to get back to 2nd, and potentially, I mean, we've seen him struggle to restart next to the 4, so we'll have to see if the 99 can do any better and challenge Brian Jones.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the 99 takes the opportunity here up at the front, what he's able to do on that outside line on this restart.
We'll have to see. Also, I mean, now obviously the 10's not up there. The 10 seem to be the weak link in most of these restarts, not able to really keep pace with those in front of him, not able to time it up, and that was really affecting those 4 tires behind. Now that the 4 tires have clean access to these top 4 drivers, we'll have to see if they can make anything out of those fresh rubbers.
We'll go on this restart. We'll actually We'll go inside the 6 and watch him on his restart.
Very imperative right here that the 6 gets a good restart. Gotta put yourself in position to get around the 4 car. You gotta be there coming out of 2 with a little bit of a run. Because I think once you start getting the momentum up, barring a big mistake from the 4, he's good enough to where I don't think they can get around him. So these restarts that they're getting cracks at him, gotta make one of them happen.
On board with Lucas Gortman, just behind your leader, Brian Jones.
Fast cars behind these top 4 as well, so don't lose sight of this rearview mirror that he has. It's going to be important to keep that 39 tucked behind him. He's one of the more aggressive guys, the 39 is. Could look to make it 3 wide here as we enter the restart zone.
Oh, jumped early.
Big jump for the 4. Gortman looks to clear. Gortman does clear into second.
Good move
So
by
it
the
looks like
6. The big loser there was the 99, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like the 99's not quite able to do anything other than the 6 was able to do. Behind him, we got 2 wide between the 81 and the 39. 39 trying to make those 4 tires work out for him, but the 81's in the preferred upper lane.
Oh, car wrecking behind.
Big wreck. Torres oversnapped. Overcorrected and just took out a bunch of them.
Torres, Musso, Tucker, Reeder, all involved. That's the 71 of Daryl Young in the grass. He has got a meatball flag. The 71 is done for the day.
That was a big hit. The 3 car just got loose and slammed into the majority of the field. 71 catching the brunt of it. Unfortunate for a lot of those drivers involved.
Yeah, there's a number of
Back
drivers
half
who
of the
were
top 10.
off track. I think Vince Burns was off track. We'll catch up to the 3 in that incident. Watch the 55 of Burns here. There's contact, I think, with the potentially with the 10.
I would see the 3 car up ahead. You'll see the snap. Boom right there. Big hit from a lot of those guys. Looks like just wreck avoidance at this point for everybody scrambling everywhere trying to avoid it. See the 5 car there hitting the no lift, get through it, bouncing through the grass. A lot of guys taking evasive action through the grass. But
Yep.
good job by a lot of those guys. A lot more people got through that wreck than I was originally expecting to. So great job by the field back there to keep their head on a swivel and find the lanes to get through that wreck. A lot less cars got tore up than I thought were going to get torn up. So congrats to the field on that one.
Absolutely. All right, that's not exactly what Brian Jones wanted to have happen here to bring out that 10th caution. He's been taking a few different strategies here. Go early, go late, trying to find some way to differentiate himself on these restarts, and so far has paid dividends, but now he's got Gortman back on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, with all these restarts being the leader, you know, everybody in iRacing's been in that situation where, you know, you're leading and it's just caution after caution after caution, and all it takes is for them to time up that restart one time, and you are hosed. They get, especially at Nashville, if they get to your outside and they just time it up one time and are able to keep the power down through 2 and stay there, you're now at a massive disadvantage. So he's definitely stressful. They're stressed out right now. Definitely going over his options, thinking, all right, what do I have to do to keep the 6 car guessing? What do I have to do to keep the 99 for being able to roll to my bumper? Definitely weighing a lot of options here, but we've seen him execute time and time again. So I think for him, he's just got to get to the basics and keep doing what he's doing, because clearly it has been working so far tonight.
Absolutely. And it's a funny play, because if cautions continue to play out, that kind of plays into the 4's hand, because you always are going to grab that that car length or more advantage on these restarts, and it's tough to pass.
You know, it's a great advantage to have until you don't have it.
Yep.
But one time that you don't get that car length advantage, you are going into turn one praying that it sticks harder than it's stuck all night. So we'll have to see what he can do here. He's done great so far. Wouldn't expect anything different, but definitely now Gortman has a fresh lease on life. It feels like he's back to second. He's got the chance, so we'll see what he can do to take advantage of it.
All right, we'll be going back to green with just 7 laps to go here at Nashville Superspeedway for the Cracker Barrel 200 in the iNRS Racing Series. Thanks again for everyone who has tuned in live and who may watch this on replay later. We appreciate you watching our broadcast.
Make sure we don't lose sight here of the 99 and the 81. They are just as vital as the 4 and the 6. If the 6 is able to get a decent launch here and the 81's not able to push him and the 99 pushes the 4 will clear into 1. So if the 99 or 81 can get a good launch here and time it up with the leader, they have a chance.
He jumped early, and it paid off a good bit here.
Absolutely. Looks like the 99 and 6 are going to be door-to-door going into 1 and 2. 6 car obviously in the preferred groove to be defending, but who can get the power down better?
99 got loose
a little bit.
Oh, they're wrecking behind, too. Big hit in the back.
Big hits.
48, 10 involved. Caution flag comes out again. Saw the 97 off track.
Some in-race banter going on right now that I haven't quite heard before, and I gotta give Dakota Reader credit for that one. That was a great one. I can't repeat it, but that was excellent. So, you know, we've seen a lot of highlights that Dakota Reader probably didn't want to be involved in, but I'll give him some credit for that one. That one was good, and he should be proud of himself for it.
Couple of cars with meatballs. Jeff Ramsdell, the 97. He'll be in the pits making repairs.
Little shake up towards the front with Tyler Lem getting loose like he did. Now it's going to put Wenzel in 3rd and Collymore in 4th. So a little different restart we're going to see. Oh, looks like Ramsdell just got loose.
The 85
Some
getting
big hits.
Collected there, not of his doing, and clearly he's had a tough night tonight.
Yeah. I'd say himself and Gary Wells would probably agree that Nashville should be turned into a lake at this point. So, hopefully they can salvage at least a little bit out of their days, gain a couple spots here at the very end, if they can. But you know, it's certainly not been the day that any of those guys want. But it has been the day that the 4 of Ryan Jones has lucked himself into. Well, I shouldn't say lucked, strategized himself into. Looking good right now out front. Got to execute one, hopefully one, maybe more restarts to get this thing done. But so far he's looked unbeatable whenever he gets to that restart box. So we'll have to see if something can change here with a little different cast of characters in the row behind him.
Let's see if we can raise Brian Jones real quick. Hey Brian, it's Rick and Jordan in the booth. How's it going?
Looks like he is in the voice chat above us right now.
Go. Here we go. Brian, can you hear us?
I gotcha.
Man. You all set for this restart?
I guess as ready as I'll ever be. I mean, I've done it like 10 times now at this point. We just keep wrecking, so. What's another one?
That's right. Well, good luck.
A little different cast of characters behind you here, Brian. Does it worry you at all now not having the same kind of guys behind you and next to you as you have before?
I mean, I'm always worried, but, you know, I just control what I can control, try and get all the forward momentum that I can get, and just claim the clean air. It seems like this race has been clean air dominant. Tires aren't really worth anything, so just going to do what I can do.
Good luck, and we'll hopefully be talking to you here in a little bit.
Yes, sir. Let's hope.
All right, that's Brian Jones. Be going back to green with just 3 laps to go.
Well, you heard it from him. You know, can't really ever trust anybody around you. But like you said, he's just got to control what he can control. And if he controls this restart like he has been in the past, I see no reason why we can't be crowning him as the Nashville victor here in a few laps. But certainly not going to come without challenge from the 6, the 81, and the 39.
All right, field is coming out of turn 4. All eyes are on that 4 car on this restart. Green flag flies. Brian Jones.
Good launch.
Good launch. And Jordan Wenzel battles the 6 and gets around.
Yeah, he clears. He overdrove the corner, though. 6 is going to have a little bit of forward momentum here on the bottom. Obviously not the preferred groove, but with so few laps to go, you'll take whatever groove you can get. He fires it off into turn 3.
It's exactly what the 4 wanted to see happening behind him. That gives him that much more opportunity to gain some time. And here comes the 39.
Yeah, the 39 has those 4 fresh tires as well as the 45 behind him. So 39 looking to make quick work of Gortman here. Going to have a little bit of dirty air to contend with the 81, and obviously how strong the 6 has been all night long. 39 trying to do anything he can to get some forward drive, but the 4 car is driving away. Going to come to 2 to go whenever they hit the line.
81 of Wenzel's looking to try and find a way to get back up to that 4. He's watching the 6 battle of 39, and here's the rearview mirror, and there's Keenan Shoddy trying to get in the game as well. Oh, Brian Jones just turned the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, the 4 car is hauling the mail right now. He's got that thing hooked up nicely on the bottom of the track. Right now he's looking all the way out that front windshield. No worries out back. He's hauling the mail. He's just got to do what he's got to do to get around here to this white flag as quickly as he can. You never know what can happen.
Except the white flag is gonna fly. Oh, just the 10 went off the track, but caution did not fly. White flag flies. Last lap for Brian Jones.
Smooth and controlled here for the 4 car is all that it'll take. The 81 and 6 might be battling it out for second whenever we get to 3 and 4, but what a race from Brian Jones. We were counting him out of it with the fuel saving and everything that was going on, him staying out, the rest of the field pitting, but he has certainly proved us a fool. Brian Jones has brought it home to win Nashville. Congratulations
to the 4 car. Unofficial results: Wenzel in 2nd, Lucas Gortman in 3rd, Collymore in 4th, and Keenan Shoddy in 5th.
What a recovery from Wenzel after taking the EOL starting on pole. I'm sure he might be a little disappointed with 2nd place there, but certainly a great recovery. And then Kai Collymore also coming from the back, didn't even put down a qualifying lap and finds himself finishing inside the top 5. A good points day in his return.
All right, as we watch the podium finishers make their way to the start-finish line for a customary photo op.
Certainly kind of one of those races that could have been for Lucas Gortman. Surely he's got to be a little bit upset with himself. Had that race in the bag, was so dominant early. Looks like the 4's getting a little preemptive here in the celebration.
I think he missed
said,
the memo.
The picture.
Well, with that, let's go ahead and go to our results. We'll catch back up to the podium finishers here. All right. Okay, so there you have it. Brian Jones is your winner. Jordan Wenzel in 2nd. You've got Lucas Gortman in 3rd. Kai Collymore in 4th. Keenan Shoddy in 5th. Tyler Lem in 6th. Austin Walton in 7th. Vince Burns in 8th. Great showing by Vince Burns. Steve Tucker 9th. And Tony Japs in 10th.
Looks like Waiting on it to cycle. There it is. All right, Shane Trotter, after we saw him dirt tracking it earlier, brings it home 11th. What a recovery from him. Joe Musso in 12th. Zach Carter in 13th. Eric Jeffers fights all night for 14th place. Joe Torres 15th. Dakota Reeder rallies to 16th. Paul Irvin in 17th. Matthew Wheeler in 18th. Alec Daffin in 19th. And Jeff Ramsdale rounds out your top 20.
All right, in 21st, Eddie Musso Jr., Jake Musso in 22nd, Daryl Young in 23rd, Corey Ennis in 24th with Gary Wells in 25th, Scott Thomas in 26th, Garrett Walden in 27th, Mike Wheel in 28th, and Grady Gherkin finishes in 29th. All right, with that, a couple other notables. You've got Kai Collmore getting that hard charger award, up 24 positions. Most laps led goes to Lucas Cortman, eclipses Brian Jones by just 12 laps, and Brian Jones gets it back by getting the fastest lap, a 29.818. All right, with that, let's go ahead and talk to Lucas Gortman. Lucas, congratulations on your finish, man. Heck of a race tonight.
Yeah, clean air, man. Clean. Oh.
So, Lucas, I mean, we obviously saw you dominate the first 50 to 60 laps of this race. You were untouchable in that first stage, and then, pit strategy got a little wonky, and, we realized tires obviously didn't matter as much as we thought they would in the first stage, and started kind of getting jumped with people staying out and things like that. Is there anything you look back on thinking I should have done that a little differently that maybe would have resulted in finishing 2 spots higher?
That last pit stop, I shouldn't have topped off on fuel and took rights. I should have just stayed out. With the cautions we got, I would have been good on fuel, and it just shows that tires did not matter at all. It was just, if you had the clean air, you were good. Disappointing, because I know Keenan, he was really fast because we did a bunch of AFICs together. I had a lot of speed, but if you just had the clean air, it didn't matter what tires you had on.
Yeah, it certainly seemed that passing was so difficult on this track.
Yeah, passing was like almost non-existent once you get into the top 5. Kai got a good run on me there on those last 2 laps, but as soon as I shut the door, and I think it was 3 and 4, and the dirty air just packed on his nose, he just pushed up and had nothing, even with 4 fresh tires compared to my old left sides. You just put that dirty air on somebody, and there was no passing, especially in that top 5.
Tough. Well, congratulations on your finish. Certainly it was a decent points night for you as well. Any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, just going off of that one little thing that you said, points, one stage. So, we are going to gain on the points lead. So that's awesome. First off, just thank God, it's a blessing every day that we get to wake up and do these little things that we get to do. My wife, who's watching, who yelled at me, I think second to last restart, telling me to get a better restart. So not much more I could have done, unfortunately, but Sandy Acres Cattle Co., all my teammates, Tyler, Wheeler, Jeff, Tyler got a good run here, P6, so good team points. You guys for broadcasting, all the admins and everything. Unfortunate, another P3 in the Kyle Busch paint, but I'll take it. It's a strong run, good points day. So,
well, congratulations. We'll see you next week in Michigan.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Got it. All right. That was Lucas Corbett. Let's go ahead and talk to Jordan Wenzel. Let's see if we can figure this out. Jordan, congratulations. P2 and P2 with an EOL. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, just getting up in the field is what that was. Once you got somewhere, you were stuck there until the next caution came out, and you just made your way through by just doing weird strategy.
Jordan, kind of walk us through. Obviously, you knew you had a fast, if not the fastest car in the 1 lap pace, but like you said, clean air versus dirty air, it mattered way more than tires did. What was kind of your mindset knowing that you had to come from the back, and how did you use strategy and things like that to try and help leapfrog cars that you might not have been able to on the track?
Taking at that first pit stop, taking 2 tires, so I got back up into the top 10 there. then at the stage, there were just some wrecks that fell my way between all the different pitting stuff. And then at the last caution, taking 2 tires because there was it didn't feel like there was anything that you could do with not taking 4 tires instead. So, and then after that, it's just run the top and nobody can pass you.
Well, you certainly did a great job. I know on our stat sheet it showed Kai as the hard charger due to qualifying and everything, but you certainly went second to last to second. So, congrats on that. Any shout outs tonight?
Oh, gotta shout out all my friends that are watching, Cameron, Jess, all my teammates over at SFM. We're all feeling this next gen car, just how it's been racing and how these races have been going. Hopefully we can figure something out.
Well, we'll see you next week in Michigan. See if that brings you some luck going up to a 2-mile oval.
Yeah, hopefully there's a second lane there.
All right. That's your second place finisher tonight, Jordan Wenzel. And with that, we'll bring in Brian Jones into the broadcast booth here. Brian, congratulations. You won a challenging race for sure.
Yeah, that was an all-timer. One to forget, move on to next week, but I'll remember it because I won.
Well, we talked all night here in the booth about the challenge of passing, but you put yourself, where you need to be at the right time. If you go back and watch the broadcast, I think we were second guessing your decision not to come in on that stop somewhere in the middle of the race. We're around, is that lap 90 or so?
Somewhere around there, yeah. The way I looked at it was if it went green, we would still need a pit. You're going to be 3, 4, 5 laps short at that point in the race. So I was thinking, if I can get track position to stay out here, I'll pit later whenever everybody else pits. We ended up getting that caution, pitted later, and I thought that the 6 would take, either no tires or just enough fuel to get to the end. But I guess he took 4 or filled it up or something like that. I took 2 tires, right sides, and just put enough fuel in it to get to the end. And somehow I beat him off pit road, so it's kind of how I won it. I don't think I passed a single car on track all day. It was just on pit road. It was one of those deals,
Well, I think this track unfortunately kind of makes that, it's just hard. There's no passing zones.
Yeah, it's a really narrow track. I don't know if it's a combination of the tire and the track or just this car being kind of broken, but tires did not matter at all. If you're out front, you just pull away. I mean, I had like 70 laps on my left side tires, and I was setting the fastest lap of the whole race.
Yep.
Just because I was out front and I had clean air. So I don't know what's going on with the car, but they got to fix it.
I think
broken.
I think the combination though of a nighttime race, which was super cool temperatures, didn't help. If this was a daytime race with a hotter temperature, that would have made things a little bit different with tire wear and traction. But it all came together. But the bottom line is you won, right? So.
Yeah, I just got to thank Home Field Apparel. They've been kind of supporting this for the past couple of years on the YouTube channel side. So big thanks to them. Thanks to my wife, Alanis, for letting me run. She's kind of feeling sick right now, so want to wish her well. Also got to thank Apex Coffee Roasters. Use code Alanis at checkout. You can get, I think, 10 or 15% off there. Also, a big shout out to Weiss Sand and Clay. They're kind of sponsoring my dirt car. So just thanks to those guys for helping us out.
You got it. All right, folks, there's your winner, Brian Jones, here at Nashville Superspeedway. And congratulations to all those competitors tonight. Jordan, great. Overall, it's kind of what we expected, right?
Yeah, I think, the combination of it being like you said, Rick, a nighttime race, cooler track temp certainly didn't lend its hand in favor. This next gen car, as it is already, is one of the harder cars to pass in, and I think that you saw that on full display tonight. So we saw a different type of racing. We saw a lot of people use strategy to their advantage. That's how we saw Brian end up with the lead, and we were all doubting him and calling him out of the race and saying there's no way he can make it. And next thing you know, we're talking to him, and he's standing in victory lane holding the trophy. So I think it was a different style of racing that we saw tonight than we see pretty much anywhere on the circuit, which is what kind of makes these races, while they might not be the most entertaining as far as lead swaps and people passing, but just the strategy aspect of this race, I think really was really entertaining and fun to watch play out.
Absolutely.
Is there a trophy?
Oh yeah, you can pick up out back.
That you got to talk to the admins about that one. I don't get paid
Okay.
enough to make that decision.
I'll send him my address.
There you go.
Never hurts.
All right, folks, thanks for tuning in tonight to the IWM broadcast of the iNRS Cup Series Cracker Barrel 200 with Brian Jones coming home with the trophy. We'll see you next week, next Thursday. Here we'll be at Michigan. We will be at the Firekeepers Casino 200 in Michigan. You can also tune in on Wednesday nights if you're interested in seeing what the IWM Cup guys are doing. We'll be available on Wednesday broadcasting their event. So join us next week as we bring you some of the best in sim racing here on the IWM broadcast channel. So for Jordan and myself, good night. Have a safe and a blessed week. Good night.